Hey YouTube, if you've watched any of this channel, you know I'm mad into my original Japanese vintage guitars. Here's an original vintage Japanese guitar, but it's not the sort of ones I'm mad into. I like sort of early 80s. This would be, I don't know, 60s, 70s? It might even be later than that, I'm not sure. But this is like sort of your original budget guitar. This is my pal Ivers. I've actually been offered a couple of these in trade before. It might be called a tulip, a K tulip or something like that. So when you get these, I did a bass which is very similar to this. I can't remember what make was it again. It's gone from me. I did a Telecaster bass a couple of weeks ago, or a couple of months ago, which is a very similar sort of build, same sort of idea. It's kind of made of the same sort of wood. Oh, it's not Japanese, it says made in Taiwan in the back, so there you go. That's the first I've noticed that. So it's not vintage Japanese, it's vintage Taiwanese guitar. So a couple of single coil pickups, a couple of on-off switches to turn them on and off, a super wobbly out of tune maker, volume tone, very thin guitar. It's Gibson scale length, so it's 24 3/4 inches. I just measured it with my tape. Strat style headstock. Yeah, rosewood fingerboard. Bolt on neck. In fact, it's actually got model number. Oh, there you go. It's an ET200. It's actually even got a serial number on it, so it's probably dateable. So you see quite a lot of these sort of things kicking about. It's also got a sort of crazy bridge, which is just a metal bar with wee tiny notches on it. So when I got this, it's the same as the bass I had. I want to say Tesco. It wasn't Tesco. I also want to say Gaiatone. It wasn't Gaiatone either. What was it? Can't remember. Anyway, the action, you can fit your fingers between the strings and the fretboard here. So what you have to do is you have to take off the neck, wedge some cardboard down the back. I cut up this box here with the strings on it, kind of folded it over 3 times, so it's 3 times as thick as that. Put it, took the neck off, put it in there, and then put the neck back on again, which basically just went and made the neck point down the way. So now the action is acceptable. I could get it a bit lower, but the problem is when you start, you can't really get these to play like a neoclassical speed metal machine. You've got 2 small frets and they're made of sort of brass or something, dead cheap, and it's not really a thing. It doesn't have dots on the edge of the fretboard, which I find really annoying about all guitars that don't have dots on the fretboard. But so I'll make some noise with it. So this is the bridge pickup. Playing through my wee Laney VC15 with no effects on. Then neck pickup. You'll notice I'm being very careful with it. I'm saying, I don't think it's really the problem with the tuners that are going to tune, but with the way the strings have been put on this particular set, I get the impression these strings were maybe put on a good few years ago and they've never been stretched in, and also they don't even wrap around the post once, so they're slipping off the tuners. The tuners aren't slipping, but the strings are moving a little bit, so I'm just playing a little bit softer than I normally do. Well, normally I pure thump it. But to put the tremolo pedal on, this is the sort of thing that we want a tremolo pedal, isn't it? Both pickups on. Try not to bend the strings so they don't get a tune. playing it the last 5 minutes, it's kind of settled in a bit. Incidentally, neither of these switches worked when I first got it, and basically all I did was turn them on and off about half a dozen times, and now they work. Same with the volume control, it just went from fully on to off. But if you just go 10 times, it's still a bit noisy, but it actually does work now. Quickly run this through the tuner pedal again just to make sure, because I'm just sceptical about this working. A wee bit out, a wee bit out, a wee bit out, a wee bit out, in. And obviously the fuzz pedal, because why not? Look, let's go to there. Yeah, so the Bigsby type tremolo arm does very little. And that's me pure wailing it. What I noticed there is, see, if you look at the bridge, it's just a metal bar and it's got 3 wee slots that the strings go over per string, and basically when I was bending the notes there, it was pulling the strings off the slots. So that was one of the reasons why it's going out of tune. It's a very light guitar, you probably can imagine that. So I mean, so I think, see, if I put other strings on it and then wrapped them around the post enough times and stretched them in, I don't think it would go out of tune, assuming of course you didn't touch this thing at all. But I can sort of see the appeal of these a little bit. It's not by any means, it's a Jack White, White Stripes type thing if you want a sort of rough, punky, it's definitely got a sound of its own, but it's intoned alright. So it just means the bridge is in the right place, but I mean, it's not in tune anymore. But I was thumping it. I think if you put new strings on it and set it up, or not really set it up, just basically just stretch the strings in properly, wrap them around the tuners enough times. That's the A string's not even around the tuner a whole time. No, it's not going to zoom in on that. Is it going to focus on that? No. But apart from that, if you want one for a laugh, I suppose. I think it's the sort of guitar you really. I mean, it must have been very difficult learning back then if this was going to be your first guitar to learn to play the guitar, because especially with when I had to shim the neck like a lunatic, before really you couldn't play anything up here. You know, because the strings were so high up, even if you could manage to hold them down, the intonation was all crazy off because it was such a crazy angle they were sitting at. Yeah, so this era of guitar, not really my thing. The thing is that this is probably worth more than the one I bought the other night there, which is like a proper, when I say proper, it's like, you know, that you could put that up against any guitar you buy these days for $1,000 sort of thing and it would win. Whereas this, it's kind of like, oh, of course it's not, because it's a sort of toy, sort of. But it does sound 50s or 60s, so this video is actually turned out to be 11 minutes long. I was expecting it to be about 3 minutes long. So, fun, but not for me. Rock on.